Hey, what's up? How's it going? My name is Gabby. Welcome back to my channel, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a very exciting rereading vlog of some of the old Colleen Hoover books that I enjoyed, but it's been, 5 or 6 years since I've read all of these books. And just to give you a little backstory on these, all of these books published between I think 2014 and 2015, and these are all books that I read during those years, and this was back when I was reading a lot of romance. Like, romance was my go-to genre in these years, and so I was always curious, because looking back on these books, I always wondered if I would still enjoy them as much as I did the first time that I read them, because now I'm a lot more picky with the romance books that I enjoy, and I feel like my taste in romance has changed a whole lot since I've read these. So I've always been curious to, kind of want to reread these and see if I feel the same about them. So that's kind of what this vlog is going to be. It's going to be an experiment to see if I enjoy these books the same the second time around. And I chose these 3 books specifically because I think Ugly Love is the one that I read the longest time ago, because this one was 2014, and this is the one that I'm most confident in the fact that I will love this again, because this book made me cry like a hot mess, and this is one that I rank pretty high when it comes to the Colleen Hoover books that I enjoy the most. Like, this is usually in my top 3 of like my favorite Colleen Hoover books, so for that reason I'm expecting to love this one. And then I also chose Confess for this video because this is one that I'm really curious to reread, because it's the Colleen Hoover book that I remember the least about. I just remember that I really enjoyed it, but for some reason I literally can't remember a single thing about this book, and so I'm genuinely just really curious to reread this one because I don't remember a lot about the plot. And the last book that I chose to read for this video is November 9, because ever since I've given out my 5-star review for this book back when I read it in like 2015, I've noticed over the years that a lot of people have said that this book is really like problematic and that the male love interest in this book is like super toxic. Maybe these are just things that I didn't pick up on back when I was, first reading this book, or I don't know what was the case, but I'm just genuinely so curious to reread this because I just don't know if I would feel the same this time around. So, we're gonna read November 9 again. These are the 3 books that I shall be reading for this video, so let's begin. Hello, what's up? How's it going? You want to know how the night's going so far? It's that I bought a new phone case and it doesn't fit my iPhone. I didn't realize that I bought an iPhone 13 case, and I didn't realize there was a difference between iPhone 13 and iPhone 13 Pro. And so I got the case that only fits 2 camera holes in there. And yeah, it's the wrong size, but I put it on anyways because I'm really like afraid to drop this thing because it's so nice, and I'm just afraid it's gonna like shatter. So I just squeezed it into this case for now, and I had to order a new one because I'm an idiot. But anyways, tonight is the night. I'm planning on starting this Colleen Hoover rereading vlog that I'm very excited about. And I planned to start with Confess because this is honestly the one that I remember the least about. And I can't remember if it's because it's my least favorite or like what the deal is, but this one actually published in 2015. I actually just checked. Just like looking at the back here, it says that the main characters' names are Auburn and Owen. I don't even remember that. Like, that doesn't even ring a bell. The only thing I remember about this book is the fact that it deals with like confessions, and the fact that there's like, it's about painting and stuff, I think. And like, just flipping through this, I forgot that there's like paintings like in this book. So like, that's freaking cool. Like, how artsy and cool is that? Like, I definitely forgot that there was like real paintings in here, so that's already like a very pleasant surprise. And yeah, I'm just gonna jump in. As I said, I don't really remember this one. Like, this is the one that I remember the least, I think, out of every Colleen Hoover that I've read, which is just wild. I also do have a few different tabs that I tabbed in here, I guess, the first time that I read this, so that's always exciting. This is why I love like annotating my books the first time that I read them, because it makes it so much more exciting this time around to like reread it and be able to see what I felt the first time that I read it. I don't know if I actually wrote it all in this book. I don't see any like actual writing, but I do see some highlighting and tabbing, so that's exciting. But anyways, it's about 10 o'clock at night right now. I think I'm only gonna try to read for like maybe an hour tonight. I don't really know what my goals are, but I'm hoping to finish this one maybe by tomorrow. I think that's the goals for now. It's the next morning, and last night I already got exactly 100 pages, in to confess. And okay, so far that first like prologue or like the first chapter was way more sad than I remember it being. I actually kind of just like spaced on that aspect of the book. I don't really want to say what it is because I don't even know if it says like what happened in this first prologue, so I think it's kind of a surprise if you haven't read it, but I totally forgot about that. So I remember that it had to do with like painting and like confessions and things like that, and basically it's about this man named Owen, and he is a painter and he paints people's anonymous confessions. So like that's already like super cool, you know. I love the freaking premise of this. I think it's so great, but also the beginning of this story is feeling very like insta love to me, you know, because this girl Auburn like shows up at his like studio and she like offers to help him with his job because he had this sign in the window that was like, I desperately need help. And so she goes and offers her assistance and she like works for him that night basically, but they end up going out afterwards, like after his thing is over of like him selling paintings. And they have this totally like insta love kind of spark. And also Owen is kind of creepy at the beginning of this book. Like he keeps being like, I promise not to rape, torture, or kill you. And he's just saying it like so casually, and like I would be like, red flag, like I don't want to be anywhere near this man. Like if a guy says that to you, even in a joking way, it's still just kind of like, okay. And he says that like multiple times throughout the night. It's just kind of like weird. So anyways, not a huge fan of Owen right off the bat, but a few thoughts are that all the talk about painting in this book really has me wanting to paint again, especially because I just watched Kayla's video the other day of how she's like trying to find a new hobby and she was trying out painting, and then reading this right after watching that video, I'm like, this is a sign from the universe. I want to paint, even though I suck at painting and I have no business painting, but all of these things talking about painting recently has got me wanting to paint. So that's happening. I was curious, you know, because I don't remember how I felt about this book the first time, so I looked up my review on Goodreads and I gave this 5 stars. So I was like, okay, and so I started reading my review, and I literally said in my review, I'll be honest, in that first 100 pages of this book, I was not that impressed with the story. I was annoyed with the characters and I even considered putting it down. So like, it's good to know me and past me are on the same page at this point in the book, because so far with these first 100 pages, like I'm not super feeling it. But I will say that since page like 80 or something, like just within these last couple of pages here, we have been introduced to a new character that I completely forgot was in this book, like completely forgot. And so that's kind of exciting because I was like, oh, okay, like this is where something else is gonna come in, like I'm starting to remember. And then we also get a little hint about Owen's past, because like Owen, so far we don't really know anything about him for the most part. You know, we know a little bit about her past, but we don't know anything about his past. And so in this last chapter that I just read, we kind of get a little taste of something that happened in Owen's past, and he seems like he's a little bit more troublesome. And I don't know, so it's starting to get interesting just a little bit, you know, like it's to the point where I don't feel like I want to put this down anymore. It's like, I'm curious to see where this goes. And like, if past me gave it 5 stars, then like my world must have been completely rocked by whatever's about to happen in these last, you know, little bit here. And I don't remember this book, which is so weird, because usually if I give a book 5 stars, it's usually something that I really remember. But I'm kind of glad that I started with this one, because this one honestly is like my most vague memory on this one. I don't know what it is, but I don't remember anything. So it's kind of exciting, you know? It's kind of exciting to like not remember anything and just get to experience everything all over again. So I'm here for it. But anyways, I do want to finish this book today. That is the plan. But this morning I have to do a bunch of adult things that are like not fun, because the other day I was shopping at Target and I bought this shirt, and when I walked out, the alarm went off, but then I was like, oh, I didn't like think of anything, and like nobody came. When I walked out, I realized that the alarm little clip thing was still on my shirt. And so I was like, what the heck? Because I paid for it. I have the receipt. So I'm gonna have to go to Target today to like ask them to like take the thing off. And then I also have to go to the post office because we have to like mail out our old phones. We bought the iPhone 13 Pros online, and then we have to trade in our old ones, so we have to mail those back. So I have to go to the post office, which I just hate going to the post office. It's just always so crowded and just so stressful, and I hate it. And yeah, and then I'm probably gonna get an acai bowl, and then I'll be back and I'll be reading again. Actually, I also have to edit a video today. There's just so many things, you know? There's so many things that are gonna get in the way of my reading time.
away. I know now you'll never change your mind.
Hello, hi, it's literally been hours since I've updated you from this morning. It's like almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but I've been getting so much done today, so I feel really good about things, you know? Like, I did all of the adult stuff this morning that I had to do, and then I came home and I've been cleaning and filming a video that I needed to film and just getting the shit done. I feel very productive, and that makes me very excited when I've been productive. But anyways, I wanted to show you because I just got some exciting things in the mail that I'm pretty excited about. The first two things just came from Penguin Random House. I got The Lost Night and Wuthering Heights because they were offering both of these on their like December influencer forms, and I was like, yeah, I want to read both of these eventually. And like Wuthering Heights, you know, this one's a classic. This is one that I don't really know if this is gonna be something I enjoy or not, but I'm really glad that I'm gonna try it out anyways. And then The Lost Night, this is a thriller author that I just read one of her books earlier this year, and I thought it was alright, but I figured I would check out some more of her books. And then freaking Libro is so sweet, dude, because if you didn't know, I'm a Libro affiliate, and I've been working with Libro probably like this whole year, I think, maybe even longer. But they're so sweet because they sent this cute little Libro puzzle that's called Bookstore Magic, and like how cute is this? Oh my god. You know, I was just thinking, like, recently, I was like, I kind of want to get into puzzles, you know, now that I got more like free time, and like while I'm listening to an audiobook, I thought like, how cool would it be to do puzzles? I mean, the only thing that kind of sucks about this is that I don't really have a lot of space in my apartment. Like, there's no good area in my apartment for me to do puzzles, you know, and especially because I share an apartment with 2 other people and it's a small apartment. But like, how freaking cute is this? I'm obsessed. Maybe I'll go to my parents' house and do this puzzle. Lastly, wow, this is a big ass box. There was this company called Teddy Blake, and they reached out and they were like, hey, can we send you a purse and you can just give your like natural reactions to it on camera? And I was like, sure. And I just want to make this clear that this is not sponsored, but there is a link in the description if you do want to go and check out their purses because they are very nice. I already took a peek at this, but I wanted to show you because they come in this huge fancy box. And then we open it, whoa, and then it'll still come in this cute little packaging here, and then you pull it out and like, wow, this is stunning. Oh my gosh, I really love the color on this one. I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about the color, but this color is beautiful. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not much of a purse person. You know, that is definitely more my sister and my mom's vibes, if you know what I'm saying. I've never really cared too much about the kind of purses that I have, but wow, this is beautiful. Let's see what the inside looks like. Ooh, okay, cool. So we do have, it comes with this like long, you can just hook it onto the side, so if you do prefer the longer straps, which I definitely do, instead of just carrying it like this, I mean, you can just carry it like this. This is so cute. Wow, so like, as you can see, just plenty of space in here. So yeah, wow, this is so beautiful. Thank you so much to Teddy Blake for sending this. This feels like very high quality and like very well made. It's probably honestly like the nicest purse that I've ever owned. I know that might not be saying much because I don't own a lot of really fancy purses, but like this makes me feel very fancy. It's probably like the biggest purse I've ever owned too. I know they do have like tons of different sizing and options on the website too, but like, wow, amazing. Thank you so much to Teddy Blake. And again, if you want to check out the link in my description, you for sure can. I do think that these would also make really great Christmas gifts for a loved one, or like a birthday present, or just for yourself. You know, we love a good treat yourself, and this is definitely a treat. It's almost 9 o'clock. And I've just been sitting here reading Confess. I'm 160 pages into this now. And I've got to say, like, to be honest, if this wasn't a Colleen Hoover book, I probably would have DNF'd this by now. I'm just very not interested in what's happening. And like the amount of times that these characters bring up the fact that his initials are OMG because his name is like Owen Mason Gentry or whatever it is. It's just kind of obnoxious. It's like, I get it, it's so funny, his initials are OMG, but like the amount of times they keep bringing it up, it's just kind of getting annoying. And not to mention some of this dialogue that's happening between them. I think it's supposed to be like cute and funny, but I'm just like kind of annoyed by it because she's like, you better stop pouting and doubting, and he's like, that rhymed. And she's like, yeah, I'm the queen of rhyming, it's all about the timing, so trust me, Owen, my desire for you is growing. Like What? And he's like, yeah, so go take your shower, come back over in an hour, then you, Auburn Mason Reed, I will completely devour. Like, it's just so cheesy, I can't, like, what the fuck? And yeah, so we got to the part where there's like a reveal kind of about her character. I actually did remember this about her character. I mean, I didn't remember this about the book, but as soon as I started reading it, I remembered that that happened with her character. And honestly, this book is kind of reminding me of Colleen Hoover's new book, Reminders of Him, like the one that's coming out in January. It's kind of reminding me of that book, but also I think Reminders of Him is a lot better because the characters are not as frustrating. Like, I don't really like Auburn or Owen in this book. I don't know what it is, but they're just like really annoying. But regardless, I'm gonna keep reading because I do have some tabs coming up that I'm like curious to see what I tabbed, and I'm curious to see if I'm going to end up feeling the same about this, because now I feel like I've read a lot more books that have different like tropes and things that are similar to this, and now this one just doesn't really feel like it's doing it for me anymore. Like, whatever worked for me back then, I feel like it might have been it's because it was my first time reading about a trope like this. But like, I don't know, we'll just have to see. Hello, good morning. So last night I finished Confess. I actually finished it. I was tempted to put it down, but I finished it because I wanted to see where this was going. I will say I'm glad that I finished it because the ending, I completely forgot about what happened at the ending, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? But with that being said, I think I'm gonna give this one like 2 or 2.5 stars this time around, which is so shocking. Like, I'm really surprised that Past Me gave this 5 stars, but I think it's because this was my first time seeing some of these tropes in romance, and I was just really moved by them and surprised by them. But I think this time around, especially after knowing some of what was coming, I was just really annoyed by these characters, and I was able to like see more of the story, I think, without the like shock of some of the things that happened. And I don't know, both of these characters just kind of drove me nuts. Like, they just really didn't do it for me. Owen is just a major red flag. Like, there's a lot of things about him that just kind of bothered me, but a lot of like the way that he talks to her, and also like their romance. I just never really felt their romance. It felt very insta-lovey to me right off the bat, and then from that point on, it was just like they just had this like dying urge to be together, and I just couldn't understand why. Like, I just didn't really think that they went that well together in the first place, and like I didn't understand their chemistry to begin with. And then the ending also, like, there's this like reveal at the end, and I just, well, I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of it this time around, because I think the first time around I loved it because I was just so shocked by it, and I was just like on board and like emotionally crying probably. But this time around, since I wasn't really liking the characters still that deep into the book, it just felt like super convenient that that was the reveal, you know? It felt like very cliche. I'm kind of sad about the fact that I didn't enjoy this one this much this time around, but at the same time, like, I never had any strong memories about this book in the first place, so I think that's why it's always like ranked lower for me anyways, like compared to her other books. Like, I've never considered this book a favorite from Colleen Hoover anyways, but still, like, to know that I gave it 5 stars the first time and then this time only 2 stars, like, that's pretty wild. But something that I do love about this book that I think Colleen Hoover is really cool when she includes stuff like this is like the actual paintings. Like, I love with like Maybe Someday how she included like real music with it, and then in this book she included like real art with it. I love when authors do stuff like that, like have like a real media thing that goes with the book. I just think that that's super freaking cool. But yeah, these characters were just, no. I mean, I do love the idea of like these confessions and like people in the town writing these confessions, and then this guy, Owen, painting the confessions and selling them. Like, I love the concept. I think it's super, super cool, but for a romance book, I didn't vibe with the romance, and like that's a pretty essential part to enjoying a romance book. I agree with I was looking up some other reviews, and Emily May gave this 2.5 stars as well, and she's a reviewer that I like trust so freaking much. And I was looking at the reason why she didn't enjoy it, and I realized that I never even noticed this until I read her review about it. But she said, one of the things that almost always bugs me about Hoover's novels is the way that she characterizes her female protagonists. They're bland, innocent, good girls, and often victims. They slut-shame other women, and when they start to behave in a flirtatious or sexual way themselves, we're treated to a piece of inner dialogue where they chastise themselves, which is so true, because they're always like, what the hell am I doing? I don't do this kind of thing. I don't invite guys into my home. Texas is turning me into a whore. Like, that's a direct quote from this, and I never even noticed that like, by saying like, oh, Texas is turning me into a whore, like, you're implying that other women are whores, that like, have sex with men that they don't know. It's just like little things like that that I never noticed before. You know, the first time I read this was 2015, so I wasn't really paying attention to things like that, you know, 6 years ago. But yeah, I don't know, what a bummer. I mean, to be honest, I don't think in my brain I was expecting to love this one. I mean, when I saw my rating that I gave it 5 stars last time, I was actually surprised. I was like, what? And so now I'm kind of like scared to read whatever I want to read next. I'm freaking tired and I don't want to read with my eyes right now, so I think I'm gonna start November 9 on audio because I kind of just want to like lay here in the dark and play games on my phone and just listen to an audiobook. You know, it's one of those nights I'm not really feeling the whole like reading with my eyes right now, but I am gonna keep the book next to me so that I can see which parts I've tabbed, because I did end up tabbing this book, and I think my mom also read this copy after I did, so I can see that she has some like notes in here too, so that's exciting. I don't know, I can't remember if I've read a book after my mom has read the same copy and gave it back to me, because my mom likes writing in the books too whenever I lend her books. And so I love that I'll get to like, you know, read all of her comments throughout the book like as I'm reading it as well. And I don't know, the only thing I really remember about this book is that I love the concept of this, because this book follows these two characters who they meet on this one day. It's kind of insta-lovey, I do remember that, because they meet on this one day and then they decide that for the next 5 years they're gonna meet up every day on the 9th of November, and they're not going to have any communication in between. And so like I love the idea of this book. Like I think the concept is really freaking cool, and I love books where, you know, the characters only see each other like once a year and they don't know like what's going on in their lives. Like that's one of my favorite like romance tropes. So yeah, I remember I loved the idea of it, but I cannot remember for the life of me if I liked these characters very much or not. And I have not checked Goodreads. I don't know what I rated this the first time around, but I can only assume that I give it 5 stars because, you know, back when I read these books, I used to give like everything 5 stars, like let's be honest. Yeah, I'm just gonna start listening to the audiobook and I'll let you know how I'm feeling about it in the morning.
You do not know what I have in mind. I packed our bags, we'll be on our way. The night was long as I waited without a sign. 'Cause I know what matters to you. What?
Good morning. Hi. So, November 9. Yikes. Okay, I want to start by saying that I swear that I went into this video with good intentions. You know, I was just wanting to reread some of my favorite Colleen Hoover books. I really want to DNF this book. I'm 100 pages in and I want to DNF it. And I know you're probably like, oh, well, just give it a chance and like it probably gets better towards the end, but like I cannot stand either of these characters. Like I literally can't stand them. I'm kind of like baffled over how I gave this book 5 stars the first time that I read it. And something that I have a major issue with this time around is Ben's character. I mean, they're both pretty annoying, like don't get me wrong, but Ben is just not like, no, he's so controlling and just like obnoxious, like because we do get both like Fallon and Ben's point of views in this book. And like right after she's had, you know, like this book starts with Fallon being in a restaurant with her dad and she's having this like really emotional moment. She has these scars on her skin, by the way, from this fire, and her dad is just kind of talking to her about how, you know, like her acting career is basically over because of her scars and everything, and making her feel like shit. As Ben is watching, he decides to like swoop in there and try to pretend to be like her fake boyfriend just to like make her dad realize that somebody's like into her, I guess, or that she has someone who's like supporting her. But then as soon as her dad ends up leaving and they're like alone together, he's like, I seem to have a one-track mind, and that track leads straight to the 2 things I shouldn't even be thinking about right now. Her boobs, both of them. I know, I'm pathetic. Like, yeah, you are pathetic. Like, this is ridiculous. Like, they just had this really, like, serious moment, and he's just like, her boobs. What is he, a fucking teenager? I mean, I think he is. I think he's, like, 18 at the start of this. But still. And then I also don't appreciate how one of the, like, the first things in this book is how they're gonna go out on this, like, date together, right? And so Fallon is, like, she wants to wear this certain dress that's going to cover up some of her scars because she's, like, insecure about her skin. And then Ben is like, no, you're gonna wear this dress. And he, like, picks out a different dress that would show a lot of skin, but she doesn't really feel comfortable doing that. And she's like, no, I don't want to wear that one. And he's like, I'm paying for dinner, so I get to choose what to stare at while we eat. Like, gross. She's like, then I'll pay for dinner and wear the dress that I want to wear. And he's like, then I'll stand you up and go to Chipotle. Like, okay, I know he's supposed to be, like, encouraging her to be, like, comfortable in her own skin, but the way he's going about it is so toxic and gross. I'm not a fan of the way that he talks to her. I know that he's, like, trying to make her feel more comfortable in her own skin, but he's just aggressive about it, kind of, and just gross and toxic and controlling. And I think something that drew me to his character the first time that I read this book is the fact that he's a writer, you know, and he's going to be writing, apparently, a book called November 9 that's, like, about their experiences, from what I remember. And I think that I just got, like, swept up with that the last time that I read this, but this time around, I'm like, I don't give a fuck, you're disgusting. And also, I think that's kind of strange, to be honest, that he's going to be writing about their actual experiences, because at one point, she's like, so you're going to be writing about my scars? And he's like, well, yeah, because that's, like, a part of you. And that's, like, something that's so private, I think, and personal that she's been through, and it doesn't seem appropriate that he would just include stuff like that he doesn't know. And it seems like weird. It seems like he's asking her questions just for his like research for his novel, and not because he actually wants to get to know those things about her, which I know he probably does, but it's still like, it's just coming across all wrong. And I was looking at my Goodreads review and I just don't understand. Like, I disagree with everything that I said about this book in my review. I slightly remember where this book is going and what happens at the end, and I just don't even want to read it. And so yeah, I think I'm gonna follow my rule with reading books, and that's if I'm not enjoying it at least 100 pages into it, then I'm gonna DNF it and put it aside for now, especially because it's December, you know, we're getting close to Christmas, and I would just want to read things that I'm enjoying at this time of year. That was kind of the whole point of me like rereading books, was to enjoy what I was going to be reading, and I did not anticipate that I would really not enjoy these first two books. Like, I was most nervous about November 9, not gonna lie. I don't know why. I just had a feeling about this book, because every time I mentioned how much I enjoyed this book, people would let me know like, oh, but that book's like super problematic, or like, oh, why do you like that one? And I was always like, is there something I was missing about reading this book? And now that I'm rereading it again, I'm like, yes, I missed I missed everything. Like, I do not, like, I'm happy for my younger self that I was able to enjoy this at the time. And now I'm very nervous to read Ugly Love, because that one is one that I read in 2014, but for some reason I still have hopes that I'm going to enjoy that one. Hello, I just wanted to update because I started Ugly Love. I only read the first chapter, but I wanted to update you because I really enjoyed that first chapter. And I'm so glad that it seems like this book is already going better. And like, to be fair, this is the book that I have like the most memory about. Like, I don't remember everything, but I do remember the ending of this book and why it emotionally impacted me. But besides that, I don't remember a lot of, like, the general story and, like, what happens, really. I definitely forgot about Cap's character. He's, like, introduced in the first chapter, and I freaking adore Cap. He's so soft. But I already really like Tate's character. She's just really, like, I don't know, kind of funny, and, like, just seems really genuine from, like, that first chapter. And Miles, I mean, even though, like, he doesn't really, you know, nothing really happens a lot with him in this first chapter, but my heart already hurts for him. Because in this first chapter, she's moving from San Diego to San Francisco to, like, live with her brother. And he has this, like, fancy-ass apartment in this really nice building. And when she goes up to the door, she sees this drunk dude that is just, like, passed out in front of the door. And she, like, can't figure out how to get in the apartment without disturbing this man. And then we find out that this man that's, like, laying against the door is Miles, who is, you know, the love interest in this book. But he's, like, the neighbor and a close friend of her brother. And so she lets him in so that he can, like, sleep on the couch, and he's just so drunk out of his mind, and he's, like, laying there crying, and she, like, doesn't know what to do because she doesn't know what he's done, but he just keeps telling her, like, I'm so sorry, Rachel. And she's like, I'm not Rachel, like, I don't know who that is. And I don't know, I'm already just feeling, like, really sad for Miles, not only because I do know why he's upset this time around that I'm reading it, but also just because that was, like, a really sad opening chapter. And I don't know, I really like Tate's character. I like the way that she's written. And something that I did forget about this is that we do get Miles' point of view in this, but we only get it in flashback chapters. So the next chapter, chapter 2, is from Miles' perspective, but it's 6 years ago. So yeah, I'm curious to read more tomorrow. I only wanted to get a chapter in tonight because it's kind of late. It's already like 12:30 in the morning. So I think I'm going to try to go to bed, but I am excited. I feel like I have high hopes that I'm going to enjoy this one again, and that makes me happy.
Good morning. The
This morning we are going to wrap presents at my parents' house because we don't really have, I mean Rachel does, she has some wrapping supplies, but I certainly do not, at least not nearly enough that we need. So we usually do this like every year, that we just like go over to our parents' house to like wrap our presents, because then we end up having Christmas at their house anyway, so we just like leave the gifts there, you know? And yeah, and we're gonna go over all day. We're probably gonna have dinner over there too. It's gonna be a wonderful time. Look at Tinko back there. Oh, Tinko. Look at these icicles in here. This is amazing. So many gifts. We wrapped all these today.
Love you.
Okay.
Anytime you try to see.
Oh, Tink just has to sit directly on my lap, don't you, Tinky? It's super fucking cold today. Tinky, how cute. This town is all Christmas decked out over here. Peace on earth. And baby. Hello, it is Saturday night. I just got back from my parents' house. Today has been a super productive day. Like, I have not been reading anything this whole day, but this morning I was able to film my best books of the year video, and I'm just like feeling super behind on all the editing that I have to do lately, so I'm just kind of like freaking out. But I also had a really nice day with my parents. Like, we ended up going over there just to like wrap some Christmas gifts and stuff, and then we ended up staying over there for like 9 hours because we just stayed to have dinner and we were just hanging out, and it was like really nice, you know? Like, I always love getting to spend days like this with my parents. It's great. And then after we got home, it was around 9 o'clock, and we ended up watching 2 episodes of Station 11 because the adaptation is available to watch on HBO now, and I thought the adaptation, it was like so good so far, and I really like where it's going. And now it is 12:18 in the morning, and I'm awake still eating gummy worms because I need to edit this best books of the year video, because as I said, I'm just feeling like super behind on all the things that I need to edit and get done, and I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight until this video is done editing. And it might take me a minute, you know, to edit this video, because these videos are usually a lot of work to edit. So who knows how late I'm going to be up tonight. But honestly, like last night I was up until like 3 in the morning because I just couldn't sleep, and lately I've just had like the worst insomnia. So I'm just gonna like lean into this and try to be productive tonight and get shit done, you know? It's a Saturday night, like I can stay up late, like who even cares? Okay, hi, it's me. I'm back with an update. It is 2:09 in the morning right now. I'm freaking so exhausted, but I'm glad because I finished editing the video that I had to get edited, and I'm pretty freaking exhausted, not gonna lie. I kept the main light on in my room because I wanted to like stay awake, you know, so I could edit this video. But then I almost just had a freaking heart attack because I went back onto my YouTube so that I can upload this other video, and I noticed that the video that I have scheduled to go up tomorrow, my most surprising books that I read in 2021, it said it was already live. Like, I was like getting comments on it, and I was like, wait, what the heck? Because this wasn't supposed to go live until 6 a.m, so not for another like 4 hours. And I know it's kind of like, what's even the point? Like, who cares? Like, if it's only that amount of time, like just let it go up. But it makes me nervous because when I do sponsored videos, a lot of them will have contracts that say like you cannot post anything within 24 hours of this video, you know? So it's like, I just had my most disappointing books that had a sponsor on it, and so that second video was not supposed to go up for like another 24 hours. And for some reason it just posted it early. Like, I don't know what the heck. Like, I've never had this issue before where I've scheduled a video to go up on YouTube at a certain time and then it posts it like hours in advance, because by the time I caught it, the video had already been up for like an hour or two. And now I'm just like so stressed out, like looking at all of my videos, making sure that the scheduled time is correct, because like I can't have videos posting early. Like, that is just so stressful and so not cool. Like, what the heck, YouTube? So yeah, I almost had a heart attack at like freaking 2 in the morning right now because I realized my video went up early. Oh, hello, good morning. And it's about 10:45 in the morning right now. I woke up like 20 minutes ago, and like I did not sleep very well last night, you know, because I went to bed after like 3:30 in the morning because I can't fall asleep immediately after I've been editing a video, you know, because I feel like a zombie or something because I've been staring at a computer screen. But you know, it's fine. You know what I'm kind of salty about though is the fact that today is the first sunny day in a long time, but of course today is like the one day that I'm taking off from filming so that I can catch up on editing and stuff. Like, look at it out here. It's freaking beautiful. and sunny. And I think the thing that sucks is that the biggest struggle that I've had lately with filming all of these end of the year videos is the lighting, because it's been so like gloomy and dark lately. And now I'm like, of course, today it's sunny though. It's fine, you know, I'm just gonna have a sunny, cozy day reading Ugly Love. My sister is at Starbucks right now, so she's picking me up a coffee. And I forgot to tell you last night, something that's really exciting is my parents yesterday when I was over there. So my parents were talking about how they recently were taking this painting class, and they both kind of discovered that they really enjoy painting. And it's so cool because my dad is actually like really good at painting, and he said he actually kind of liked it, and like it's just a skill that he didn't know that he had. And I was just saying how I just read the book Confess, which was making me want to paint more, and because I just saw Kayla's video that was like inspiring me to like want to like learn how to paint. And so my parents were like, yeah, that would be so fun. So for Christmas I ordered a bunch of different like paint stuff off of Amazon, and it's gonna get shipped to the house before Christmas. And so for Christmas or Christmas Eve, we're just gonna like paint together as a family and like just have a good time with it. And I'm so excited because I don't know, I've just had this urge lately ever since I've watched Kayla's video. I was like, this is so inspiring, like I just want to learn how to paint. And so like I'm really excited for that because I think it'll be so much fun to like do it as a family and just kind of get to like learn something new, you know, like I just really want to learn a new skill. Hopefully I'm gonna jump back into Ugly Love. Hopefully I can get this done today. Alright, candles are all lit. This one is my personal favorite candle to ever exist. I freaking love Frozen Lake. It just smells so freaking good and so perfect for like the winter time. So yeah. Excuse me, sir. Tim always does this on the couch. But anyways, this is the drink that Rachel brought me from Starbucks, and it's so freaking good. I actually asked her to order because Olivia actually posted about this drink on her story yesterday. Tank, seriously? I'm trying to talk. And anyways, this drink is so freaking good. It's a grande iced white mocha with no whipped cream, extra caramel drizzle with blonde espresso, and it has this vanilla sweet cold foam on the top of it. Like, holy crap, it's so freaking good. So I'm gonna start drinking this and reading this. And sorry you can hear the laundry, but it's a laundry day.
I lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do?
Oh my gosh, okay, look at how funny. I forgot, this is on page like 19, so this is like right in the beginning of this book, but in Miles' first flashback chapter, I totally forgot how it goes from like regular writing, and then when he meets the girl Rachel, that was like his love interest in the past, it just changes to like center of the page, like poetry style of writing. And it's so funny because I just noticed like it stays like center of the page poetry style of writing like after he meets this girl. Like I just think that's so funny. I mean, I remember the first time reading this, I thought that was almost like stalker-ish, the way that he just like immediately becomes obsessed with her when he like sees her, and I still kind of do, but like this time around I'm finding it a little bit more funny, to be honest. What? Oh my god. You made this?
Well, yeah, because I saw that bookmark online and I just wanted to make it for you instead of buying it.
God. It's so cute.
This photo, I don't
Look
know
at
who
how
created it.
cute.
But-
She created it based on this photo. Did somebody send you this photo? Or did you just make it? Did you just find it?
It's not online, I think. I might have seen it on Instagram, but
Dang, but still
That's
so
so
cute.
cute.
I love that you made this. Oh, it's so cute. I love the colors of these. Like, oh, little bugs. It's so cute. So now my sister can add a professional bookmark maker to her resume. And you like laminated it or something.
I just taped it.
You taped it.
That's the sound you're hearing.
Oh, I see. So cute. Okay, so I wanted to update you because I'm only a few chapters in. I'm on page 48 right now, but there was already something kind of surprising that happened in Miles's past that I totally forgot about. Like, I definitely spaced on that. Sorry, Tank is snoring so loud. But while I do think, I don't know, Miles's past chapters are kind of like super cringe, you know, because he's just like obsessed with this girl Rachel. But I don't know, I really like Tate's chapters in the present day. Like, I don't mind those at all, and I kind of like Miles. He has this like, I don't know, he has a really good vibe to him, so I'm really liking Miles' character too. But in the past, when he was a teenager, he's kind of cringy, you know, because he's just so obsessed with this girl. Okay, so it's been a little bit. I'm on page 198 right now. And I'm just so confused over how I feel about this, because I think I'm discovering about my romance reading taste now is that I'm not really a huge fan of the friends with benefits trope. Like, it's just not my favorite, and maybe that's just because I don't really enjoy reading romances for the sex scenes. I just read this one sex scene that was at the end of the last chapter that I just read that was I don't know if it was consensual or not, and it was just very disturbing to read. And now he's like apologizing to her, and you know, like, it ended with her crying and being like, I never felt anything like this, but like, it doesn't imply if that was in a good way or a bad way. And it was just very, I don't know, it was very uncomfortable to read, you know, because it's like, this is a romance that we're supposed to be rooting for, and the way he just went about that was like kind of gross. So yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling about this anymore. Like, this is definitely not gonna be a 5-star book for me this time around. I'm still enjoying certain aspects of it, you know. I do really like Tate's character, but now Miles, like, I don't know, that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And even if that wasn't, you know, actual like rape or you know, sexual assault, it just felt very uncomfortable, and like the consent was not clear, and because of that it made me very uncomfortable to just read that sex scene. Like, that was not romantic in any way, shape, or form. Okay, hi, it's, you know, it's been another hour or so, and I just finished Ugly Love, and I don't know how I feel about this one. And to be honest, I'm kind of sad, you know, because I genuinely expected this book to be a 5-star book for me again. You know, like, this was the one I was the most confident in loving again. I think I'm gonna end up giving this one like a 3 or 3.5 stars. I didn't dislike this one as much as I ended up disliking these two, but just from reading these 3 books, I don't know if it's because I read them like back to back to back, but I feel like Colleen Hoover books kind of have this like formula that I'm like picking up on a little bit now, you know, and it usually involves, you know, this controlling man that needs therapy, and how it's kind of like the girl's responsibility to fix him in these books. I will say though, like, for some reason with Miles, like at the start of this book, I was just like really feeling for him, you know, but then somewhere towards this like last half of the book, he just became so controlling and toxic and like, gross. I really started enjoying this book a lot less. I also kind of dislike in romance novels where there's conversations like this where she says everyone wants love, or at least sex, it's human nature. Like, I hate when there's kind of comments like that that are kind of saying like, you're not normal if you don't want love or sex. Like, I kind of hate comments like that in romance books. It's just so weird, you know, because my opinion on romance books has definitely changed over the years. Like, I guess I'm just a lot more frustrated with controlling men in romance novels, and I'm able to see a lot more where there's like no consent given, and where it just feels very uncomfortable to read certain sex scenes. Like, I was not okay with some of the sex scenes that were happening at the end of this book. It was just very cringe. And also, I just don't really love the friends with benefits trope. I don't know if I used to, but I just don't anymore, because it's like, how many times can they have this conversation of like, I'm not gonna fall in love with you, we can't fall in love with each other, and like, I don't want to do that, I'm incapable of feeling any emotions. Literally, they had this discussion at least 3 or 4 times in this book, and it gets kind of old. And it also gets kind of old that he keeps assuming that she's gonna be the one that's gonna want to break the rules. Like, you're gonna want to fall in love with me, but that can't happen. I don't know, I just feel like, you know, as shocking as the ending of this book is, and like the ending was really sad, you know, like, I'll give it that. I can see why a lot of people would cry the first time that they read this. Like, I can see the things that I loved about this book the first time that I read this. This time around, I think Miles as a character was just bothering me a little bit too much for me to be like 100% on board with everything that was happening. So yeah, this video kind of went in a way that I was not expecting. Like, I swear that I went into this video with good intentions, and I was just wanting to reread some of my favorite Colleen Hoover romances, but these books were just kind of disappointing for me a second time around. Either way, I do think It Ends With Us is still my #1 favorite Colleen Hoover book. I don't think that's ever gonna change, just because I love Atlas and I love Lily, and I just love this story so much. Like, the story just hits, and this is one that I have reread before. I mean, it's been a minute since I've read this one, but I have reread this one since reading it. And then also All Your Perfects is one of the ones that ranks very high for me still, and this one is one that is very close to my heart because the story deals with infertility, and that's something that my mom also experienced. Like, my mom had infertility issues for 9 years before she had me, so when my mom read this book, she made like all these notes in it, and we just really connected over this book. So for those reasons, I mean, these two have got to be like my favorite Colleen Hoover books. But I do feel like Colleen Hoover's writing has improved over time, you know? Like, I don't think that the current books that she writes have the same issues that I'm seeing in some of her like past books, because, you know, to be fair, these books are like all over at least 5 years old. So like, I do think like her newest release in January, Reminders of Him, I just read that book last month, and like, that book does not have like a super toxic man that like needs therapy, and I was actually able to enjoy that story a lot more. And same with some of her more recent books like Regretting You and Heartbones. Like, I do think her writing is going into a better direction, so I do still consider her to be a favorite author, and I do think I'll continue to pick up her books in the future because I do love how easy her books are to get into. And most of the time, you know, she does have really great characters with really interesting premises. But yeah, unfortunately, these three just didn't end up really doing it for me this time around. But anyways, yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this. I kind of wanted to include Maybe Someday as a reread in this as well, but I always remember Maybe Someday being like a step below these ones. Like, these ones were the ones that I think I enjoyed the most, even though I'm pretty sure I also gave Maybe Someday 5 stars. But to be honest, I'm just really not in the mood to reread Maybe Someday right now, even though I am curious to eventually know my thoughts on Maybe Someday. But yeah, I would love to know, what are your thoughts on these 3 books? Like, are these books that you enjoyed a long time ago, or like, would you be curious to reread them sometime to know if you still feel the same about them? Or did you read these the first time and you didn't like them immediately? Or like, what are your thoughts on them? I would love to know, because I'm very curious to know if anybody else had feelings like their opinion might have changed on these. But yeah, please let me know. If you have read a good amount of Colleen Hoover, let me know what is your favorite Colleen Hoover and what is your least favorite Colleen Hoover. Like, let's just have all of the discussion in the comments. And yeah, thank you so much for watching as always. I should have more rereading kind of vlogs going up soon. The other ones are going much better than this one, just a FYI. Sorry to be such a downer, but thank you so much for watching as always, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.